Keep the gates closed. I used to think abandoned farms slept like animals, quiet, simple, more weeds than ghosts. I'm 25. The night caretaker hired to keep an old plantation from collapsing before the developers decide what kind of lie to build. The place is a rectangle of fields and windbreaks, a manor house with boards across its teeth, a mill shed whose gears haven't had sugar in them since before I was born, a brick cistern capped with a slab and a chain. My job is simple. Lock the sheds, walk the fence, log the generator hours, and never go between the rows after midnight. 2 extra rules from the last foreman, who signed the handover with a shaking pen. Don't uncap the cistern, and asterisk. If the irrigation console asks you anything after dark, you tell it no. Asterisk. He tried to laugh. It didn't stick. By 10:52 p.m., the office in the carriage house had found its Humfridge insects, a fan that thinks it's weather. The first odd thing was polite. The little label printer on the desk chattered without my thumb on it, and spat a narrow strip with no logo, no lot number, just, "Do not walk the rows." Along the edge in ghost gray, that wasn't the time, 3:13 a.m. The wall clock said 10:53. I stuck the strip to the monitor because paper makes rules feel tangible. The house windows are the kind of glass that keeps its breath. As I passed the front door, the fan light fogged from the inside. In a perfect palm 5 ovals and a heeland slid an inch before thinning. I wiped my side of the pane with my sleeve like I could edit the world. Past the porch, the cane field leaned and pretended the wind knew math. In the pump shed, the irrigation console glowed a soft hospital blue. The touchscreen pinged awake to a card I had Dante called. Asterisk. Resume schedule 313. Under it, double tap to confirm asterisk. 2 tiny hearts pulsing the way apps do when they want something you don't. Nope, said the way you say no to a puppy with teeth, and killed the breaker. The screen stayed on a breath longer than electricity has a right to, and corrected itself like an obedient child. The radio at my hip hissed. We only use it if the contractor on the day shift forgets his lunch. A voice came through, slow and careful, like each word was being lowered into place with 2 fingers. Asterisk. Don't go. Down. Asterisk, not the foreman, not the developer's project manager. The careful museum voice cities keep for labeling bones. I did the perimeter because walking puts the right kind of noise in your head. The wire along the north windbreak sagged where wild pigs had negotiated a treaty. When I bent to staple it back, 2 knuckles tapped the fence post from the far side, measured not wind, not wire. The cane rose 3 meters out, breathed cool on my wrists like a mouth remembering a word. The mill shed is a cathedral for machines. The gears are iron teeth married to belts that don't turn anymore. My lamp crossed their faces and came back with an angle wrong by a hair. In the glass of the oil-stained gauge, I saw my own head and another half a beat behind, tilted toward my ear, mouth parted like it had reached the first half of don't. I blinked at something I'd named if I were braver and wrote gear train intact, because forms like being fed. The cistern sits behind the house like a memory you weren't told. Brick barrel, concrete lid, chain padlock to a ring. The slab was cold enough to make my palm sting. Beneath it, the kind of hollow that eats sound. The radio breathed again, patient. Asterisk. Leave it, sealed. From under the slab came tap tap, asterisk, the rhythm people use when they've learned knocking is language. I pretended the chain was commentary enough, checked the lock twice, and stepped back until the brick stopped feeling taller than me. At 11:27, the office fridge was kicked into a different hum, and the fan, the insects, and the transformer at the pole chose to align one note for a long, thin breath. Like the property wanted to announce a train it didn't have. In that held chord, the carriage house door shivered against its latch like a sleeper scratching. The intercom on the wall dead since the day crew clipped its wires clicked and delivered the sentence a child teaches itself before a stove. Asterisk, Don T. Open. Asterisk. I logged fuel in hours because hands like tasks. The generator panel showed 4,111.3, blinked 313 for a second like a face twitching in sleep. Then remembered 4,111.4 as if it had earned the half-tenth. The label printer coughed another strip into my palm. Keep the gates closed. The edge felt damp, the way fruit feels damp when it's thinking about tomorrow. I took the ATV to the south gate because pigs don't respect real estate brochures. Halfway down the lane, the rose knocked. 2 precise touches on the stalks to my left. Then to my right, answering themselves from a path width away. I stopped. The cane stopped. A handprint bloomed in fog on the inside of the ATV. Windshield 5 ovals and a Heeland slid toward the dash, a polite inch before it gave up on gravity. "We're not doing this," I told the steering wheel, and the wheel pretended I'd decide anything. By 11:49, the night wanted to move me into the old packing barn. It's a skeleton of corrugated tin and honesty. When my light crossed the floor, the dust shifted the way dust does when rats make their own meetings. In the reflection, off a tin wall, for one frame, a head leaned behind my shoulder, tilted toward my ear, mouth parted on don't. The next frame was me and my lamp, and a strip of thermal paper stuck to my notebook by habit. Midnight wasn't an event so much as a decision. Kane hunkered. The generators kept their beat. A whippoorwill or some bird that wears a night shift hat said its name until the space learned it. The irrigation console, powerless by my hand, lit anyway, offered *** confirm, repair 313, and double tap to confirm *** with its cheerful little hearts. The glass was cold as the cistern slab. The screen did not register me. The manor house has a cellar door you could mistake for a mouth. The padlock wore the kind of rust that happens indoors, where rain can't explain it. As I leaned to photograph the hardware, something knocked twice on the other side. The exact patience of a person who waits for you to remember your own rules. I set my palm to the wood and felt pressure matched. It's not urgent, just present, like a hand through a door agreeing we could both exist. At 12:23, my phone vibrated with a message from unknown. "I'm here." The dot hopped, to and back, like a child failing at hide-and-seek. A second message landed. ***, confirm meeting at 3:13. ***, 2 hearts pulsed. I slid the phone into the drawer with the checkbook and shut it like that was exorcism. When I stepped back onto the porch, the fanlight fogged in a palm that wasn't mine, lifting where my breath can't reach, sliding its patient inch. The cane across the yard made a sound like someone agreed politely with me from very far away. The radio, not depressed, whispered ***, don't. At 12:41, the place did the one sound trick again, a line tight enough that my teeth noticed. In that held note, the south gate swung 1 inch against its chain and settled. The label printer purred in the office a building away, and when I fetched it, the strip in the tray said, "Leave the doors sealed." A thumb smear of ink dragged across the last word like someone had rubbed it before the blade cut. I wrote "Quiet night" in the log because the developer likes to see that phrase next to their property. The letters looked wet on the page even after they dried. Kane Rose knocked again. Tap tap on the left, tap tap on the right, pacing me as I walked the lane back toward the carriage house. My shadow in the gravel had a head a half-beat behind mine, mouth a darker oval I refused to name. At 3:13, because ours apply for jobs, every bulb on the property pulsed once. Porch lights, the single sodium by the well, the LED derisively called security lighting near the office, the fan, the fridge, the transformer, the insects, all sang the same one note their throats could manage. The irrigation console lit and cleared all faults by itself, in a tone that felt like mercy, and the cistern slab let out one long, cool breath like a chest letting go. Dawn unstitched the dark with a tractor's far-off rumor from someone else's land. The day foreman rolled in at 6, with a coffee and the stance of a man who has argued with weather. "Quiet?" he asked, without quite meaning it. He frowned at "Do Not Walk the Rose," like it was a pesticide brand he didn't tea-like. "Printer's old," he decided. "The manager's blessing for nights they didn't spend." "We'll leave her capped," he said, "and rub the chain the way you pet a dog that used to bite." I traded nights for days to pay periods later and told the project manager I missed the sun. Some evenings in my apartment, the freezer knocks twice like a gate practicing manners, and my phone flips to 3:13 and back when I am not watching it. And ***. Palm clears a coin-sized circle from the wrong side and slides *** before the glass decides it has ethics. When it does, I keep my hand off the cabinet under the sink, off the basement door in the building I don't own, off anything that looks like a lid made for hands. I say in the steady voice the plantation taught me, asterisk, asterisk, keep the gates closed. For a long, thin moment, the room breathes like a field under weather. A head leans toward my left ear and practices the first half of Don T asterisk asterisk, and then the fans remember their separate jobs. The hour lets go of its number, and whatever was learning my footsteps a half beat behind me chooses somebody else. S rose and leaves me to sweep a porch that faces nothing.
If you survived this far, leave your like to prove you are not afraid.